One to another episode. In today's show, Bitcoin's echoing March 2020 Black Swan crash. I'll be breaking down this latest research, as well as U.S. regulators slap trading firm with $1.7 billion plus with a penalty for defrauding thousands of victims, literally taking 29,420 Bitcoin. Also breaking news, Vitalik's X account has officially been hacked, with over $691,000 drained thus far from victim wallets. We'll also be discussing crypto tycoon SBF seeks release from jail over trial prep and laptop complaints. We'll also be discussing many cryptocurrencies poised to benefit from Coinbase's institutional lending service. We'll also be discussing the latest from Max Keiser, quoting him here: El Salvador bonds up 90% this year, the best performing in the world. Bukele plus Bitcoin equals rocket ship to the moon. He also says that El Salvador debt will soon be trading at a premium, and Volcano Energy is powering El Salvador to become a Bitcoin powerhouse, and that El Salvador will be debt-free by 2030. He also says that Bitcoin has already and will continue to outperform everything else so spectacularly by 100x or more. I'm going to be breaking down his multiple seven-figure Bitcoin price prediction. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. And welcome everyone just joining us. A quick reminder to smash that like button, as it helps out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. And don't forget to smash the subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you can receive notifications every single time I go live, which is each and every day, 7 days a week. And a quick reminder to follow me on Rumble if you're not already. We already have 520 followers, and this serves as a great backup to the YouTube channel. And of course, I appreciate everyone's support. And if you didn't know, we stream simultaneously every day on both YouTube as well as on Rumble. So there you have it. Welcome everyone just joining us. This is pod episode number 1397. I'm your host, JV. Today is September 10th, 2023. And the market, unfortunately, is back in the red. As you can see here, we got Bitcoin down 0.25% for the day, barely holding on to 25,800 support. We also have Ether down 1%, barely holding on to $1,600. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the current crypto market cap sits just above $1 trillion with about 17.5 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance on the climb at 48.6%, with the Ether dominance at 18.8%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers of the past 24 hours, we have Kronos leading the pack, but only up 1%, trading at 5.2 cents, followed by Leo up 0.75%, trading at $3.84, followed by Pax Dollar, which is the stable coin, which is up 0.3%. So it virtually means almost every major crypto is currently correcting and in the red, which you can clearly see here on Crypto Bubbles. This is supposed to show us the top gainers out of the top 100 for the past week. And I only see Kronos in the green and costs only up a modest 1.5%, virtually meaning all the top cryptos are bleeding and bleeding pretty badly. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're currently rated a 40 in fear. Yesterday a 41, last week a 40, and last month a 51. Which is neutral. So there you have it, fam. Welcome everyone just joining us. Shout out to everyone in that live chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. At the end of the show, I'll be reading everyone's comments out loud. Now let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis. Check out the charts and what is popping right now with the King Crypto, with this latest research that a Black Swan event could be on the cusp. That's right. Bitcoin may be worrying market participants with the current price action weakness, but on-chain data paints an intriguing picture of activity under the hood. Now, UTXOs represent the Bitcoin leftover after an on-chain transaction is executed. CryptoQuant's UTXOs and loss metric tracks when the large numbers of these UTXOs are worth more than they were when Bitcoin was originally bought. Now, currently, more of these are in loss compared to their original acquisition price than at any time since March of 2020. Can you say deja vu? At the time, Bitcoin dropped 60% to its lowest level since March of 2019, lows which were never ever seen again. So considering the current data from UTXOs and loss, CryptoQuant contributor ventured that March 2020 Bitcoin may be seeing already bouncing back from a curveball selling event. Quoting the analyst here, given that the current level of the UTXOs in loss indicator mirrors that of the Black Swan event between March and April of 2020, those anticipating another Black Swan event might want to consider whether we are already in the midst of the event that they are waiting for. Now, in percentage terms, 38% of the UTXOs were in the loss at the end of August, a figure last seen in April of 2020. Quoting them again, when many UTXOs are in a loss, investors might be more inclined to sell, hinting at market anxiety. And conversely, when most UTXOs are profitable, it suggests an optimistic outlook and a stronger hodling sentiment amongst the investors. Now let's discuss the underwater Bitcoin speculators continuing to grow. That's right. Bitcoin, meanwhile, remains locked in a tight range amid the lack of overall Bitcoin price trend, with neither a breakout nor a breakdown willing to compete. Cost basis data likewise shows the current spot price caught between the acquisition prices of various investor cohorts. Now, this realized price, which is the price at which the supply last moved divided by the age, shows that the short-term hodlers fall into aggregate loss when Bitcoin is below the 27,000 level. And a full capitulation event, however, has yet to be recorded on chain. So there you have it. All I know is this: one Bitcoin is still equivalent to one Bitcoin regardless of today's fiat Ponzi US dollar value. Just saying. And one Bitcoin will always be equivalent to one Bitcoin. So keep hodling, keep stacking them sats. You already know, my fam. Now let's break down our next story of the day, and that is a massive loss from a major exchange. 29,420 Bitcoin were stolen. So let's break this down. The Commodities Traders or Trading Futures Commission, CFTC, is hitting the South African Bitcoin trading and networking firm with a ban of 1.7 billion penalty for defrauding investors. According to the press release, the CFTC announced the judge ruled that Mirror Trading International Proprietary Limited, let me know if you've ever heard of the firm, must pay over $1 billion to compensate the victims of its fraud scheme involving foreign currency transactions. Quoting the CFTC here, the order stems from CFTC complaint filed June 30th, 2022, and requires MTI to pay more than $1.7 billion in restitution to defrauded victims. The order also permanently enjoins MTI from further violations of the Commodities Exchange Act as charged and imposes permanent trading bans in any CFTC regulated markets, as well as a registration ban against MTI. Now, the CFTC also highlights a default judgment issued against MTI founder and CEO Cornelius Johannes Steinberg. In April, the court found that from May 2018 to March of 2021, Steinberg and his business engaged in an international fraudulent multi-level marketing scheme to solicit Bitcoin from people for participation in an unregistered commodity pool operated by MTI. The CFTC says that Steinberg collected at least 29,421 BTC, worth over $1.7 billion while conducting the scheme. And for his crime, Steinberg must pay more than $1.7 billion in civil monetary penalty, which is the highest in any CFTC case. Now, according to the CFTC's Director of Enforcement, Ian McGinley, here's what he had to share. The settlement with MTI and default judgment against Steinberg represents the latest stage in our battle against fraudsters who victimized over 23,000 individuals from the United States. So wow, most of that Bitcoin comes from US investors, it seems. Here, the fraudsters made the most modern of promises, claiming their advanced intelligence software with Bitcoin as a base currency would create untold wealth for the investors, but were actually committing a classic form of fraud, which is a multi-level marketing scam. Whether a scam involves fictitious electronic trading bots or Bitcoins, as this action involving a South African entity shows, we will pursue the scam artists wherever they may be. So there you have it. Again, let me know if you've ever heard of this firm, and hopefully none of my audience was scammed by them. If it sounds too good to be true, typically it is too good to be true. And there's a lot of scams out there, and I don't gotta preach to the choir. You guys know this. Protect your Bitcoin fam. Now let's discuss another major hack. Unfortunately, a prominent figure in the crypto space, co-founder of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, was just hacked and scammed literally over $600,000 from victims, which is very unfortunate. But you also have to keep that in mind. Oftentimes, hackers could even hack a major influencer's account and then convince you to send them some Bitcoin in some hopes of some returns. But these are all scams as well. It's a very common scam we see more and more often, unfortunately, in the crypto sphere. Now, Vitalik, Ethereum co-founder, allegedly had his X account compromised, according to a prominent blockchain investigator, Zach XBT. The incident led victims to collectively losing over $691,000 after clicking on a malicious link. That's right. On September 9th, yesterday, on a post, Dmitry Buterin, the father of Vitalik, announced his son's account had been compromised, quoting him here, "Disregard this post. Apparently, Vitalik has been hacked. He is working on restoring his access." The post was also referring to as since was deleted. It published Buterin's account claiming that to celebrate the arrival of proto-danksharding coming to Ethereum, the hacker shared a malicious link to the alleged free commemorative NFT available, enticing victims to connect their wallets before ultimately stealing their funds. So there you have it. Trust nobody, verify everything, never attach your wallet to anything, as it can be a malicious link designed to steal your crypto, as what happened here. Now, consequently, this incident has led Ethereum developer Bakko, known better as Baki Puba on X, to claim he has suffered losses in the CryptoPunk NFT collection. Now, at this time of publication, the prevailing floor price for a CryptoPunk NFT stands at almost 47 Ethereum, which is approximately equivalent to $77,000. Now, Zach XBT has been actively informing his over 400,000 followers about the hacker's activities. He recently shared that the most valuable NFT pilfered so far is CryptoPunk 3983, worth 153 ETH, equivalent to approximately $250,000. Good Lord. Now, a user with the alias Satoshi767 on X claimed that Buterin might not have implemented sufficient security measures for his X account, quoting him here, "I hate to be the one to say it, but Vitalik should take accountability for his poor OPSEC and compensate those affected," he stated, before implying that he believes Buterin's oversight led to the attack, quoting him again. "The only way this isn't negligence on Vitalik's part is if someone at X internally compromised the account, or if he was coerced in person by a criminal who threatened violence. I highly doubt that's what happened. Most likely, this was a SIM swap, which is a common occurrence for hackers in crypto." However, Zach XBT challenged those allegations, asserting that Buterin's high profile makes him susceptible to various forms of hacking attempts. As he shares here, "You do not know yet whether it was a SIM swap. Vitalik is a big enough target to where an insider could have been paid off or a panel was used," according to Zach XBT. So there you have it. It's sad to hear so many people being scammed, but you got to be a little smarter. Never send anyone your crypto. Never connect your wallet to anything. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, fam. And with that being shared, now let's discuss the latest with the one and only fraudster, SBF, better known as Sam Bankman-Fried, and the latest with his ongoing jail saga. Here's a picture of him right here being held by authorities and being held in custody. In a new letter to federal Judge Lewis Kaplan filed on Friday, SBF's lawyer, Mark Cohen, and Christine Everdell claimed that FTX founders unable to adequately review discovery materials on the provided laptop and internet connection at the Metropolitan Detention Center. Mr. Bankman-Fried was only able to load one document from the database to review, the letter states. And here's what the attorney further shared. Effectively, Mr. Bankman-Fried had no access to the internet for the entire 5-hour period. The defense team also asserted Bankman-Fried's trial preparation time in the jail is limited, with the 30-year-old so he's 30 years old and brought to from the form of a visitor room late. Bankman-Fried was arrested in December, as we know, and charged with orchestrating a multi-billion-dollar fraud at FTX and commingling customer assets. He also pleaded not guilty to those charges. Prosecutors have opposed any release for Bankman-Fried before the October trial. The government believes SBF can access discovery for up to 11 hours on the weekdays and has unlimited access to hard drives of evidence. But Bankman-Fried's lawyers counter that the lack of web access prevents comprehensive document review, quoting them here. "We therefore respectfully reiterate our request that the court order Mr. Bankman-Fried's temporary release under 18 U.S.C." They wrote to Judge Kaplan. The attorney's argument that his constitutional Sixth Amendment rights are currently being infringed upon. What are your thoughts, chat? Let me know. The tussle over Bankman-Fried's pretrial access to evidence comes amid heightened attention to the conditions and rights of detainees preparing complex white-collar criminal cases. Legal experts say judges tend to be cautious in granting temporary release, but complaints of inadequate access raise constitutional issues of courts often take serious. So what are your thoughts, fam? How do you think this will likely play out for SBF? And as I shared breaking news just the other day, a fellow in Turkey just got sentenced almost 12,000 frickin' years in prison for a $3 billion fraud. So how do you think SBF should be treated if he is found guilty of a $30 billion fraud surrounding FTX and Alameda Research? Let me know, fam. And at the end of the show, I'll be reading everyone's comments out loud. Now let's discuss the latest with Coinbase offering their institutional product, which can greatly benefit a lot of the cryptocurrencies. Let's break this down, and then we'll dive into the latest predictions from Max Keiser, and then we'll dive into our live Q&A. So here we go. Coinbase, the leading digital currency exchange, the largest crypto exchange in the United States, just rolled out their lending services to its prime institutional investors. The organization suggests that the lending feature promotes the crypto market's development after some shortcomings. Various virtual currency platforms, such as Celsius and Voyager, filed for bankruptcy due to their shortcomings, which we all know that happened in 2022. A filing by the US SEC stated that the crypto exchange's customers had invested $57 million in the lending activity that commenced on August 28th. This is also an incredible indication of various digital currencies such as Luna Classic, Polygon/Matic, and Bitcoin Spark. Most importantly, Bitcoin's Spark might also experience growth once the Web3 community sees through its double consensus mechanism and its multiple means of revenue generation. Now, personally, I'm not familiar with Bitcoin Spark, so if you guys have any insights regarding this cryptocurrency, please do let me know. I have no familiarity with it whatsoever. But will Luna Classic recover? Great question. Concerning the ability of Luna Classic to bounce back has become rampant in the crypto industry, named only currency left after the downfall of Terra Luna. The Luna Classic is estimated to be in the green in 2026. Digital analysts depict that the crypto might also surge during the next bull market that might happen in 2024. But I also remind you that Luna Classic can go to zero. So keep that in mind as well, investors. Now back to Bitcoin Spark. The decentralized ecosystem seeks a platform that will cause venture capitalists and individual investors to invest funds, increasing crypto adoption. The new entrant, Bitcoin Spark, stands to create waves in the crypto market to promote the growth and development of the blockchain ecosystem. Users and participants in the decentralized ecosystem need not worry, as the digital platform will sort out issues with interoperability, scalability, and transaction speed limiting factors for major blockchains like Bitcoin, as well as Ethereum. The platform has a cutting-edge algorithm that will enable participants to generate revenue in multiple ways. Bitcoin Spark has already been audited by Vital Block and Cognitos, the most compelling and prominent auditing organization of the blockchain ecosystem. Now, marketing is pivotal in the upcoming Web3 projects as it creates awareness for the crypto and non-crypto individuals. When a project's marketing is strong, the platform seeks to reach many investors and subsequently surge over time. Bitcoin Spark will use a new marketing technique to capture the user's attention embedded into the Ledger ecosystem. The marketing strategy is called innovative disruption. Innovative disruption seeks to disrupt the old marketing methods to develop quality and more eye-catching strategies. The process will involve storytelling to capture blockchain enthusiasts' attention, leveraging blockchain tech, and strategic positioning as the best and most potential crypto startup. Other methods utilized for marketing include influencer coalition and community engagement. So once again, let me know your thoughts if you have any insights regarding any of these cryptos. Are you bullish on any altcoins at this moment outside of Bitcoin? And yeah, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments right down below. Welcome everyone just joining us today in that live chat. Make sure to let me know where you're tuning in from, as in a little bit I'll be reading everyone's comments out loud, giving everyone the opportunity to have their comments, voices, and concerns and opinions read out loud. Now let's dive into the latest from the high priest of Bitcoin, one of my favorite in the crypto industry, and that's the one and only Max Keiser. We're going to be breaking down his multiple seven-figure price prediction, as well as all of his other most recent price predictions, which are relevant. So let's start right here. He just tweeted, El Salvador bonds are up 90% this year, the best performing in the world. Bukele, the president of El Salvador, plus Bitcoin equals a rock rocket ship to the moon. And in that thread, he also says El Salvador debt will soon be trading at a premium. Volcano Energy is powering El Salvador to become a Bitcoin powerhouse. Preach. El Salvador will be debt-free by 2030. Now, that's a very bold prediction. He also shared back on August 11th the following: Bitcoin has already and will continue to outperform everything else so spectacularly by 100x or more that anyone holding fiat, stocks, bonds, gold, all the ish coins, property, etc. will literally be impoverished. Now, you run the math. With Bitcoin's current price action above 25,000 times 100x, that's $2.5 million per coin based on Max Keiser's prediction. I also like to share a recent tweet he shared on September 6th, 4 days ago. This Tucker Carlson interview with Javier Milei could pump the Bitcoin price 5% in a day. It'll become clear that all of Central and South America benefits extraordinarily from adopting a Bitcoin standard. That's right. Bukele and El Salvador are leading the way. And if you didn't know, Tucker Carlson, who has an audience of over 100 million people tuning into his show, now on X, recently went to Argentina to interview the pro-Bitcoin presidential candidate, Javier Milei. I personally cannot wait for this interview to be released, as it is obviously extremely bullish for Bitcoin. And as Max points out, this interview alone can pump the Bitcoin price 5% in a single day. Now, Max also made some very bullish predictions on the last day of last year, New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2022. Here's his predictions for 2023. Quoting him here: my 2023 predictions on Bitcoin. Number one, we'll reach $100,000. Now, we're currently 75,000 off from that target, but we're just entering the fourth quarter. We'll see how that plays out. He also predicted that 2 more countries will adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. Currently, there's a lot of talk surrounding nations such as what do we got? Brazil, we got Argentina, many other Latin American nations, but I don't think it has been official yet, but many are in the works, so let's see. He also says that will become a major electoral issue in U.S. elections this year. It already has become a major issue. You have Kennedy Jr., who has already said if he is elected president, he's going to back the dollar by Bitcoin. We also have other candidates such as Ron DeSantis talking about being pro-Bitcoin and anti-CBDCs, so he was right there. He also said that Bitcoin City will commence construction and that volcano bonds will be oversubscribed. So, I mean, he hit the nail on the head on many of these. Obviously, we have yet to hit that $100,000 price action, but hey, anything's possible, so we'll see how that plays out. Now, he also was recently interviewed, and he shared the following predictions as well. This country, referring to El Salvador, will be debt-free by 2030 with Bitcoin as well as geothermal Bitcoin mining. And he also goes on to share, quoting him here, where he declares, countries around the world are beginning to accumulate and mine Bitcoin as the world of fiat currency and central banks disintegrate. With the benefit of President Bukele's new laws, such as making Bitcoin a legal tender, we have the ability to lead the world and arguably become the richest country in the world. Go figure. Now, if you translate El Salvador into English, it means the savior. Is this a coincidence or is this all by design? Now, Max has also been a very vocal proponent of Bitcoin as a currency, declaring that all fiat currencies are going to zero compared to Bitcoin. It's all going to zero, right? Keiser explained that Volcano Energy's market cap will grow to $50 billion, exceeding El Salvador's GDP, which is estimated to be $29 billion. This growth will be powered by the rise of the price of the Bitcoin price action to $1 million per coin, according to Max. He qualified this prediction as a mathematical certainty. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the high priest of BTC. Now, Max also was interviewed by Swan and made a multiple 7-figure price prediction, revealing what he believes will cause the Bitcoin price to skyrocket to new all-time highs. So let's quote some of this interview. With Bitcoin, it's kind of the end of price discovery because everything will eventually be priced in Bitcoin. Everything goes to zero against Bitcoin. And so for someone like myself who has been following this for 40 years, the finance markets, technology, Bitcoin is the holy grail. It is the end all. I would say my compatriot in all of this is Michael Saylor. When you hear Michael Saylor talk, he talks about the aesthetics of Bitcoin, the beauty of Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And he speaks about it in a way I think carries the torch from the Max and Stacy from 2011. He started buying it, I guess, when it was $10,000 or $12,000 or so in the 2020 era. So we were there from 2011 to 2020. I think he's kind of carried the torch from 2020 in a lot of ways, introducing Bitcoin to massive pools of capital. I'm surprised that more companies haven't followed his lead, giving the upbreak in inflation we have had exactly as Michael Saylor predicted it. The melting ice cube, as he called it at that time, is exactly what happened. Well, I guess we can now say we're now in the era where BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, and these other major institutions are now looking at Bitcoin. So his work on the institutional level, I guess, is bearing fruit. Now, 3 years later, I see in the Middle East, they are starting to recognize Bitcoin. So that's a huge pool of capital. I think all that oil money will find its way into Bitcoin and be a huge catalyst for higher Bitcoin prices. It's a natural way for the oil industry to diversify their portfolio because Bitcoin is essentially energy, and the energy eventually gets priced in Bitcoin. And there is a marriage between these two in a big way. So I think that's kind of the answer. I've always been fascinated by price discovery in markets and the architecture of how the markets work under the hood. And Bitcoin is such a pristine, perfect money. And I think it is something humans have been searching for since forever. And now we're seeing it change society on a really fundamental level with the introduction of Bitcoin. A lot of people are freaking out because of it, because it destroys the status quo. And a lot of people who have been waiting for it to come along have the faith that humanity can be saved. They see Bitcoin in those terms. So you have this split going on, which is very exciting. So it just continues on and on. How can you not be interested in it? I think the people who were into it earlier and walked away just never really got it from the beginning. Once it's categorized as an asset class, we have nothing to do except position ourselves in this asset class. Preach. Either we are going to be a small position or a big position, but we cannot ignore it. We cannot not have a position. Now listen up right here. So even 1% of that multi-$100 trillion funds available moves the needle on Bitcoin, and it moves it up considerably. So if we get into that 5 to 10% range, then you can start to really see it raise ahead of the 7-figure type predictions that people have been making, including myself, because it is an asset class. So there you have it. Very bold prediction coming from Max Keiser. And as I shared in great detail in yesterday's episode, Michael Saylor also made a very bullish recent prediction, which has been going viral on X. I already got over 2,000 hearts, 400 retweets, and over 311,000 people who were exposed to this prediction from Michael Saylor, and I feel it's relevant to read to you right here. So I recently transcribed the most recent price prediction from Saylor. Here's what he had to say. First of all, Bitcoin is going up by a factor of 10, whether they can fix any of this stuff. It is going to be a grind up by a factor of 10 just because gold is broken, and Bitcoin is going to replace gold, and now everybody in the universe knows they need a non-sovereign store of value in the form of a bearer instrument. For the last year, people said inflation may be coming. We are not sure. Now the mainstream narrative flipped to inflation is here. You need an inflation hedge. So it is going to grind up to replace gold. It'll go to $500,000 a coin, regardless of whether they fix these things. Here are the 3 things that are massive catalysts that cause an acceleration. Those 3 things don't take us to $500,000. They take us to $5 million per Bitcoin. Those 3 things are, number 1, a spot ETF, where someone can go ahead and buy $100 million of Bitcoin via an ETF security. I think that's one. Number 2, your bank is going to custody it for you and lend against it. And number 3, I can mark it up or down on my balance sheet based on its fair value. It'll be pari passu to the way I handle Apple stock, or at least that good. So if you have property with fair value accounting, by the way, it becomes pari passu to the way you'd handle treasury bonds on a treasury balance sheet. Treasuries are better than stocks because treasuries are properties, whereas a stock is a security, and you're capped out at 40% of your balance sheet of securities. Now, so it would be a major breakthrough if you saw any of those 3 things. I'll end with this one observation I tweeted last week. I believe it's very powerful. If the banks can hold the stuff on their balance sheet, then a whole new class of investors are going to buy it. People are going to put in $1 billion and multi-billion-dollar orders to buy it as a treasury asset. Nobody is going to sell it because there is no reason to sell it if you can borrow against it. Sage wisdom coming from Saylor. So you're be borrowing against Bitcoin. Nobody is ever going to sell it. And then, as I joked, you won't be able to afford it. Well, you'll be able to afford it, but everyone gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve. When the banks normalize it and you can draw a 100 million credit line at 100 basis points from an FDIC insured bank, at that point, right where we're going to blow through the market cap of gold by a factor of 10. And right now the gold market cap is roughly 10 trillion. So he's saying the Bitcoin market cap will hit $100 trillion. I think the best is those three things are likely, highly likely to happen. I don't know if they happen in 36 months or 24 months or 12 months, but I'd be shocked if it's more than 36 months. And I hope it doesn't happen in 12 months, because my view is the longer it takes, the more progressive the grind and the more time I have to buy more of it. So there you have it, fam. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the Giga Chad, as well as Max Keiser with their predictions that the Bitcoin price will continue climbing. And Max says by a factor of 100x against all other assets. We got Michael Saylor saying the Bitcoin market cap will soar 10 times the market cap of gold, sending the Bitcoin price ultimately to $5 million per coin. What are your thoughts? Do let me know. And shout out to everyone today in the live chat. Shout out to Punchy Coffee 20. What's good? Boz Dragon, Mark Anthony, Yo, Matthew J, Mr. Still Stacking. What's poppin'? Shout out to all the mods. Shout out to Digital Dankness. Shout out to Selling with Twins. I'm going to start reading everyone's comments out loud. Let's get it. Tim's Crypto. Appreciate you tuning in, fam. McLovin, what's good? Grandpa Hodler, let's freaking go. Matthew says, I'm hoping we get more months of cheap stats before the ETF and complete price discovery chaos. Well, your thoughts are right in alignment with Michael Saylor. He knows it's inevitable, the spot ETF approval, as well as the other major catalysts, but we want some time to continue stacking the most pristine, perfect money which has ever existed, which is BTC. Hello, TI. Welcome, fam. Let's freaking go. You will be there in the next 6 to 12 months. I know it, says Matthew, showing some encouragement to McLovin. What's good? LFC Liverpool Film Club. Shout out to Tony Jeffries, Liverpool in the building. Abraham Villinger, 10 million by 2030. Buy the dip and hodl. Let's freaking go. Also 10 million by 2030. Send it. Paul Gamble says smash. I appreciate that. The greatest compliment you can do to help support the channel. Smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon. Turn on all notifications. And also make sure you're following me on Rumble as a backup, as well as the secondary YouTube channel, which is clips.cryptonewsalerts.net. Also, I invite everyone to become a part of the Crypto News Alerts Discord fam. Right now, we do have a open server on Discord, which is discord.cryptonewsalerts.net, so you can join, connect. We also have many channels in that Discord, including the 100K Fiesta celebration party for when the Bitcoin price hits 100,000. We're going to be celebrating down here in Puerto Rico, and you are all invited. So let's make it happen. Bring facts. Welcome, fam. My girlfriend's dog just had a seizure. Good Lord, sorry to hear that, and died very seldomly. Oh man, prayers to Bring Facts and his family, his girl, his dog. Sorry to hear that, fam. I know how close a dog can be to the family, because I have Nipsey and he's a brother to me. So everyone show your condolences to Bring Facts dog, or his girlfriend's dog. That's very sad. It saddens my heart to hear that, fam. McLovin, you should just focus on the halving rewards. You're past the 2036 halving reward, working towards 2032, then whole coin, then 2028 halving reward if possible. That's tough. Love my dog, says Paul. Tuning in from the globe, Arizona, USA. Shout out to Volkman. Much love. Fanshia, 21 trillion market cap is attainable. What do you mean trillion? And we're not counting lost coin. Oh, I see. So you're saying the 21 million Bitcoins is going to turn into a 21 trillion market cap. I agree. And I also feel it's inevitable and will happen, and nothing can stop it, especially considering the total addressable market is over $700 trillion, right? So all we got to do is capture a small fraction of the total addressable market. Checking in from Japan. Shout out to Zap Ingram. Appreciate you tuning in. Says we know it's going to be a damn good show. Thanks, fam. It is what it is. Appreciate you. Robert Brady, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Preach. Sophisticated. Yo, what's good? No, never heard of MTIJV. Be careful of the scams, fam. 100%. I've never heard of it either, but as you can see, so many investors got scammed from it. So like I said, if it sounds too good to be true, more than likely it is. Savvy Bitcoiner, welcome, fam. Appreciate you. Shout out to fellow whole coiners out there. P. Yao, never a day off. Keep up the excellent work. We all appreciate your hard effort. Thank you, P. Yao. I appreciate that very, very much. It keeps me driven to continue to produce the best daily content I possibly can, regardless of what challenges come my way. I do this, guys, for you. I'm trying to do something, you know what I mean? spark the masses to a greater understanding of how money works so they can position themselves to protect themselves from the enslavement, which is a coming via the CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Shout out to Barry tuning in from Holland. Appreciate you, fam. Evening to Baz Dragon. I am late. How did someone pay 19 Bitcoin in a transaction fee? I saw that on X. No clue. Maybe there was something, agreed behind closed doors. Who really knows, to get to the bottom of that, but it doesn't sound good, right? I bet he don't serve that full 12,000 year sentence, JV. Well, that's a given. Maybe give him 50 years and then he'll die, and then they'll be like, we only got 11,950 years to go, but he's dead. What are we going to do? Isn't that crazy? Do you think they would potentially give SBF 12,000 years in prison? I just don't see that happening. and SBF is involved in the biggest fraud in human history, just FYI. That's why we call him Mini Madoff. His fraud is way superior than Bernie Madoff's fraud. Just saying. Smash. I appreciate that. Thank you, Satwise. Shout out. Styling with Twins. Much love. Appreciate you, fam. Miners get paid in fees. It is not scary. All the blockchains work that way. Incentive to speed up the transactions is the way of the world. You got enough money in Bitcoin, you can cut the line for the price, says Matthew. SBF, being a part of the well-connected club, won't face appropriate justice, in my opinion. Instead, he'll probably just receive a slap on the wrist. That's what I'm leaning towards. Maybe gets a few years in prison. I doubt they're going to give him a life sentence, but you never know. Let's see if justice is served. We'll see how it rolls. Greggio, what's good, fam? From Chinada over here. Chinada, where's that located? Chinada, is that an African country? I'm not familiar with Chinada, but it almost sounds like China with a DA at the end. Interesting. What up, JV? What up, Corey GSC? Much love, BTFD. You already know. Tried to take his bank account. Yo, Max is a Bitcoin legend, 100%. There's none other, the one and only. It'll be slowly, then suddenly. These fiat scammers will hold off until they can't. Word. I'm not sure, Boz. I wouldn't confirm a transaction that high. Mark Anthony, the fact that Vitalik, out of all of the people, allowed himself to be hacked should make people hesitant with ETH, in my opinion. Y'all want to leave your life savings in the hands of that dude. And I think Mark Anthony makes a fantastic point, right? How secure is Ethereum if the co-founder of Ethereum is being hacked on his own X account? You know what I mean? And taking advantage of investors, you know what I mean? Convincing investors to send him crypto and stealing it. That is kind of sad and ironic at the same time, and part of the reason I don't have any trust for Vitalik, Ethereum, the Ethereum Foundation, or the World Economic Forum, or anyone correlated to those organizations, just is what it is. I don't know that people really understand how big a number 1 trillion really is. That's like 1,000 billions, right? If you start to count to 1 trillion now without taking a break, it'll take you 32,000 years to complete. Well, I think I got the next video idea for Mr. Beast. I'll be like, yo, just count to 1 trillion, fam. You're going to get 10 billion views. It's kind of ironic because I watched his documentary, Mr. Beast, and one of the early videos he did where he got a lot of attention, he count to like something ridiculous, like 10,000 or a million or something like that. Anyways, appreciate all you do, JV. Best crypto YouTuber ever. Thanks for keeping it real. Thank you, Yo-Yo. Appreciate that, fam. Golden Giant, what up? Great show as always, JV. Checking in from Chi-Town. Shout out to Chicago. Chi City. Can you say Chi City? What's up? 5 million in 36 months would be fire, wouldn't it? What if? Start stacking. I'll take 5 million for a Bitcoin. Hells yeah. They custody Bitcoin for the Bitcoin only company. Greetings from Stockholm. Shout out to William. Punchy Coffee. What up? Per chat GPT. I would sell one of my Bitcoin for 5 million, says Robert Brady. Baz says that wise. You mean Ripple purchased Frontier? No, that is correct. Ripple did purchase Frontier. I saw that news just the other day. My condolences for, Bring Facts Girlfriend's dog. Appreciate the love, support. Yo, JV, love the name Nipsey, Dog Hustle. You already know, because my dog was a rescue dog. I rescued him like 4 years ago. He was skin and bones, didn't have any food, was living on the streets. We rescued him, and he was just always so calm and cool and collective. And I was a big fan of Nipsey Hussle, the rapper, and that's around the time Nipsey died and was murdered. So, you know what I mean? To show some respect to one of my favorite artists, had to name my dog after him, and I think it's a great name. And right now he is just chilling in his bed. I don't know if you can see from this angle, but it is what it is. Shout out to Nipsey. Baz, sorry guys, I'm new to the web. Word. It is. I have a what? Aaron James, I'm not even going to repeat that. What are you talking about, bro? Why would you say that in the chat? I think you should go to OnlyFans or something. You're in the the wrong channel, dog. Condolences. If they pay you $5 million for a Bitcoin, they'll pay you 10. Well, we all know Bitcoin will continue to go up. The longer you hodl it, the more it'll be worth in dollar terms, as the purchasing value of the dollar is guaranteed to go down, as the purchasing value of Bitcoin is mathematically guaranteed to go up. That's a mathematical certainty, quoting Max Keiser. Anyways, fam, now for a recap of what I covered with you here in today's show. We broke down the latest technical analysis with Bitcoin UTXOs echoing March of 2020's Black Swan crash. We also discussed that the U.S. regulator slapped trading firm with a $1.7 billion penalty for defrauding thousands of victims, taking 29,420 Bitcoin. Good Lord. We also discussed Vitalik, the co-founder of Ethereum. His X account was hacked with over 691,000 drained thus far from victim wallets, which is not a good look. We also discussed crypto tycoon SBF seeking release from jail over trial prep and laptop complaints. We also discussed the latest with Bitcoin Spark, as well as fellow cryptos poised to benefit from Coinbase's institutional lending service, which is officially live. We also discussed the latest and greatest from the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Keiser, with him saying that El Salvador bonds are now up 90% this year and the best performing in the world, and that the Bitcoin price is likely to hit $1 million, $2 million, or even $2.5 million per coin. We also shared the latest prediction from Michael Saylor as a bonus that he believes the Bitcoin price can hit $5 million per coin within the next 36 months. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I look